and Joe know all there is to know, from masterpieces to deep fried tacos. And if the movie sucks, you might hear them say, there's no telling where the guys will take you. Get ready for a spoiler. Won't say it twice, cause we already warned you. Better watch out, it's gonna ruin the plot. Real spoilers. Real spoilers. Real spoilers.
Broadcasting from the lush but not lavish studios located in the basement of the O'Keefe Institute for Advanced Film Snarkitude, this is Real Spoilers, episode 713. Black goddamn.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah. So let's go around the table and everyone can introduce themselves.
This is Joe.
This is Kevin.
And this is Tom. Before we dig in proper, let's just, no tangents. We're just digging right in. Shameless plugs.
Do it.
Okay. Don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, wherever you find a podcast. You can find us while you're there. Be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review so the people that come along after you know we're worth checking out.
I will say we're at 296. If we could
So
get
close.
like four
Wow.
more, we can get four more. We'll break 300.
Woo!
Woo!
So
And Joe will kick you off of a ravine.
Wow. Oh, maybe don't do that then.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, he won't. He won't. Leave the
There we
reviews.
Perfect.
where was I at? I don't understand the ravine thing.
I have
Well, 300.
Yeah. Into it. I mean,
Oh,
it's more like
300.
a pit, right?
Okay.
Well, whatever
All right,
that
now
is.
we're
Gotcha.
Sure.
to other.
Well, your choice. You get to choose. Is it a ravine? Is it a overpass?
Bottomless
Much like
pit? Yeah, right.
the band kids would do. Really, you get a whole host of options.
Totally watch that again.
You
What's
watched it again?
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I guess if it's on Peacock for
Yeah.
free.
That's kind of why I feel.
Might
About
as
it. I was
well.
like, yeah, I'll check it out.
There's
again.
nothing else better in the world to watch. That's
I left thinking, like, I don't want to wait to see if there's a post-credit scene. I can just watch it on Peacock, and then I never did.
I've watched it at least.
I was
twice on
like,
Peacock.
I don't care enough
did.
to find out.
I love it.
I'm like, if there's
It's
one,
fun.
Joe will tell me, and that will suffice.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Much like Black Adam.
Yeah. Remember when I said there weren't going to be any tangents?
Surprise.
Here we are. So also, don't forget you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/real spoilers. While you're there, like the page, join the group. The group is called the League of Show Sharers because we're hoping you share an episode. It's the easiest, cheapest thing you can do to help out the show. People who were kind enough to share an episode last week include Dissect That Film, Librarian Cynthia, David Rojas, Tammy Lynn Powers Betts, Julianne Jordan, Ralph Tribble, Heather Sachs, Christopher Rex, Gabriel Lugo, Chris Sanders, Travis Tewitt, Chris Magicman, Invasion of the Remake, Chris Williams, Death Wish 83, In Session Film, Mike and Oscar, Feelin' Film, Spoiler Piece Theater, D.W. Lundberg, Binge Movies, Ryan Terry, and The Minorities Report. So thank you so much for sharing an episode. We greatly appreciate it.
And I believe Death Wish 83 is a new one. So, Tom,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
going to sing a song.
That's not me. That's a Dan thing.
We just put him in the robot.
Who does that
sound.
pass to?
I don't
Dan's
know.
not here.
The
Joe
ro-
sings the song?
The robot voice.
It does not pass to me.
We don't have a Dan robot voice.
Although of
though.
all the
guess
Death
that's
Wishes,
true.
why 83?
That's a good point.
That's
You kind of want to do like 81,
I don't
78.
know.
I don't
Do
know.
like 70 something.
whatever year
Do the
that
good
was.
one. So
Not the racist one.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
The,
like-
the crackdown.
right. Yeah. Emphasis on crack.
That's right.
Yeah. So also don't forget we have a Patreon, patreon.com/real spoilers, where for $5 a month you get all sorts of bonus content and you help us out, and that's even morely appreciated. That's a word now.
Well, trademark
So-
real spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's all that. Black Adam.
Okay. I don't know what the direction at this point is.
Well, then you should work for DC because they don't either.
Here's the it's this movie is
I'm not a fan of big government, but I think maybe we need a law to stop them from making movies.
I at this point
we-
I don't disagree.
I mean, I'm a fan of freedom of speech, but there's a line.
Yeah.
And I think it might be DC and their right to make
this
movies.
is there's no plot to this movie.
None.
It's just The Rock
I've
smashing
never seen a
people.
movie with so much exposition, but so little plot.
I know.
When it opens with the faux Egyptian kid,
Yeah.
like many years ago, I was like, "Oh, we are fucked. This is gonna be bad." Like whenever they start, I mean, it's like,
It's a lot.
Was it like 10 minutes? It felt like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I
probably.
thought it felt like at least in Man of Steel when they're doing it, you're like, okay, Krypton. It's an alien planet and there's aliens and people are doing things. And this one I'm just like, jeepers creepers.
Yeah, it was.
Well, we don't know these characters.
You
don't need-
I still don't.
If there's one that you
still don't.
need a backstory for, it's not Krypton. It's not Crime Alley. This is the character that general audiences don't know yet. So I didn't find it too bad.
Except it's just boring.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing we've seen a million times. Like there's nothing unique or interesting about it. And it's like and just this I just hate this motif of like we're going to narrate our backstory. Like either tell a story or don't tell a story. It just
You want them to go back and do it for 45 minutes if they actually told it.
You know what? If it's good enough,
Yeah.
yes, but it's not good enough. And if it's like, oh, this is bad, so let's make it shorter. What is this, my first honeymoon? No.
This is basically a reference to the comics. I think it's in the New 52. They did a similar storyline to this.
This character's been bounced around
This
a
is
bunch.
so Black Adam. The flashback you're referring to is it Kondak?
Kondak.
In Kondak, there's this. They're like bad guy Inc. They keep saying have taken over Kondak.
Now, in fairness, Intergang it's a DC thing.
I know, but
so
I'm
like I can forgive that because
they're using
like,
the real. I know,
Yes.
but I'm just like Intergang.
It's a dumb name.
It's an international gang.
I
They
don't
named
dis-
them
Intergang.
Intergang. So they're going back and showing why Intergang is in Kondak, and you flash back, and there's this king that's looking for the unobtainium.
Eternium, which is even more ridiculous given when they called it that, and I was like, but there's the Rock of Eternity. Like, why would you name the thing when there's another thing that has the same name?
Right.
These are all good, valid questions.
Yeah.
But so they're showing why. So this king has enslaved all the people.
Well, actually, what he wants is the crown of Sabak.
Okay.
That's what he's looking for.
But they make the crown out of the stuff. I thought.
Oh, I thought
They
were
do.
looking-
That they're forging it out of the stuff. So
okay. I
so
thought
he's,
they were looking for the
Because
crown.
it's a mineral that
Yeah.
they use for
I
God
got
knows
you.
what.
so he's
Sure.
so he's enslaved all the Kondakians. And they're mining for the stuff, and and this guy finds it, and the guy goes to turn it in, and the dude, the bad guy, the slave master, if you will, is like, "Hey, cool, thanks. The king thanks you." And this guy's like, "Hey, I'm supposed to like get a few bucks or whatever."
A little something, for the effort.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, okay, here, let me walk you right over to this. What would you call it? A ravine?
A ravine. It all comes full circle.
So he walks him over to the ravine and is like, good day, sir. But it's 300. Like this movie looks like 300. It looks like a Snyder movie.
Yeah.
So he kicks him off the thing and he goes falling. But we see this kid who is like, we don't know who the kid is yet. And I think you're supposed to believe it's young Black Adam. It's young The Rock.
Here's the problem. Is the guy that they have playing his dad
Yeah.
sounds like The Rock.
Well,
if you listen to the way
yeah.
he speaks and like even his voice, they
well, no, I think it is The Rock.
it's supposed to be the Rock.
but we don't like. You're right.
They're
But
trying to hide it, but
we're
it
supposed
is-
to assume that the kid is going to grow up to be
Yeah.
Adam.
But
Right.
when you hear the guy talk,
You're
and
like,
I didn't
"Oh, I
catch,
don't
but
know."
Katie did. She
Yeah.
goes, "Oh, that's the," because she goes, "I heard his voice. He's speaking, and it's supposed to be a different language." But she's like, "That's The Rock."
Mm-hmm.
But I do like it. But this switch is what they do in the New 52. So
Yeah.
this scene is pretty much taken right out of New 52, and in the New 52, it's a flashback. Like it's a
Hey Kevin,
Yeah.
do you know what they did with the new 52?
They trashed.
Yeah. But
I rest my case.
but I think this is the most modern telling. I don't
No,
know.
I
if
mean,
they've-
but here's the thing:
Yeah.
is with this character, he is. I mean, he's Captain Shazam's Lex Luthor. He's Captain Marvel's, which is what his
Yeah.
real name is. I'm just gonna call him Captain Marvel. That's it. He's his villain, right?
Yeah.
And they are. I like the idea that. I mean, it's kind of the Sinestro thing where the wizard chose Adam at one point because
Yeah.
he was a good fit, and Adam's like, "I'm not listening to you," and for whatever reason, the wizard can't take the powers back. I don't know why, but now you've got a clash between Shazam and Black Adam, right? Because
Yeah.
now Shazam is the one the real one. Adam's like, you're worthless, like blah blah blah. So when you take this story and try to make this character more sympathetic by saying that his son was the one who was chosen and became the champion of Kondak.
Which in the comics, it's his nephew.
Right.
But so it's a very similar. They just made it so that it's Adam's son instead
Right.
of.
I mean, I guess if you don't want to make him the villain, you can't have him be like, I'm taking these powers and piss off.
But I think you can't.
So
I think you can.
here's a hot take. If you don't want to make him the villain, maybe not have it be a running gag about how much he kills people.
Totally agree.
Right. It's like,
But he only kills really bad guys.
That doesn't.
I think that's why.
does he? He's killing a lot of henchmen who, like, they don't.
He's killing a bunch of guys who are like, "Hey, wait, I was
Yeah.
just trying to get a paycheck."
But these guys have enslaved. The flashback is the king
Okay,
enslaving the people.
not
The modern.
but the modern stuff, he's still killing people. Like it's a hoot
Yeah.
and a holler. Like,
But they
Oh,
are
they
they are
definitely-
inner gang. They're bad people though. I'm just
but-
saying you can reform him. I think because he's killing.
I mean, that's what they're hoping.
But they don't reform him because he just keeps doing it.
Yeah.
I think by the end with Hawkman, he's
He
starting
only
to
stopped killing people because the credits rolled.
He only stopped killing people because he ran out of people.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, and he is an anti-hero. I get that they're walking that line, but to me, the way that they made it was back in Kahndaq, the king, they had enslaved all the people and they were murdering people and using them and taking the resources and everything. And then in modern day, it's inner gang who has the guns, who are chasing down kids and are not afraid to kill people and beat them up and all that. So I still think it's a fine line, but he's not killing just innocents that get in his way. He's killing the bad guys.
It is funny that we're still having this discussion since 2013.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if you take a battle into a city
Right.
and you just start throwing things through walls, you're
Yeah.
going to kill people.
Yeah.
Your own people.
It's also weird to have the hero, and I know Black Adam's not supposed to be a hero, but when you name the movie Black Adam
Sure.
and you cast The Rock,
Right.
he's the hero, regardless of what you want to say.
Correct.
Right? He literally says, force is always necessary. Like,
But
don't date this guy.
but that's the Black Adam from ancient Kahndaq. That's before he's learned more with the kid and the mom and the modern society. Like, I do think there is some growth with him. I know that it's slight, but with Hawkman and the not killing and Dr. Fate and all that, I do feel like his character.
MVP of the movie for me
He's good.
was Pierce Brosnan.
He's really good.
His voice sounded weird.
I think he's old.
Well, he's supposed. But he's Irish, and the character is supposed to be Swedish or something. Like the character Kent is supposed to be Swedish. So,
but it was like when he was Dr. Fate, when he put on the helmet, his voice sounded weird.
Yeah, they modulated it.
Here's
yeah,
what I
for
think
sure.
happened. I think they were like, hey, we're going to do like a weird voice effect on you when you're Dr. Fate. And so then he like talked in a weird voice, and then they didn't do it.
They're like, oh no.
Oh,
And
we
then-
can't.
And
He-
then
low-
he
low
was like,
key-
I thought you were going to put an effect in there. Well,
Now, low-key Dr. Fate is
we
one
needed
of like...
we needed another slow motion punch.
Thanks. Yeah, right.
No, we needed protein powder for the Rock.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Low-key Dr. Fate is like one of my favorite...
Loki, Dr. Fate.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. But the argument was like, who came first? Was Dr. Fate or Dr. Strange? Because they're the same character. And it's Dr. Fate.
Oh, if you watch this movie, they would like you to believe that.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
no,
when
I
you-
mean, even in the comics, he's the same character.
Yeah.
I know,
It's the
but they
exact
took
same
they
thing.
took movie Doctor Strange. They made Dr. Fate do the same hand things.
He
and
kind
he's
of-
seeing the outcomes. Like he's just
in all fairness, he kind of does.
Yeah.
Like it's always kind of been like that in the comics. He's always
Yeah.
the look of that costume was my favorite. Like I thought that was
That was
amazing.
good. But yeah, I know the comics go back and forth, but the movies, Marvel
DC's
is
always
the,
had DC and Marvel have always had parallel characters, right?
Yes,
it's like
always.
it's like you've got Superman over here and Captain America over here, or Shazam if you want to go for powers versus personality, and then you've got Batman, Moon Knight, and Wolverine, Lobo. Like
Right.
they've always
Deadpool, Deathstroke.
yeah.
when it comes to what works in the movies, Marvel is usually first. So
Well-
you see
well,
DC
good
going,
Lord.
"Oh,
For sure, yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna
yeah.
do
I think
that."
to the casual observer, the people that really only pay attention to the movies, it's certainly going to look like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is correct. So it's just you right. So now we flash forward, and Inner Gang has kind of taken over Kahndaq. We're introduced to a woman who I thought was going to be Isis.
she is, but not in this movie.
Oh, really?
That's the same character.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, she's
They're going to need to rename that though.
Maybe.
Yeah.
they're brother and sister in the comics, but in this movie they're mother and son, and she's Isis.
Oh, yeah. Okay. But did they call her Isis in the? They didn't call her that, do they?
In this movie?
Yeah.
no,
I
not
mean,
yet.
I
She
nodded off
hasn't-
for a bit, but I don't think so.
No, not yet. But it's the same character.
Yeah. So, basically,
and he's
Adam,
Osiris.
yes.
in the
Adam.
comics.
Adam gives. Yeah. In the comics, at least, Adam gives part of his power to both of them.
maybe it's something to do with her necklace is how she gets the powers. Like, there's that connection with the necklace. I wonder if that's how they're going to.
Well, I don't know. We'll see if we get a second one.
Well, I think this is going to make a ton of money.
It made $57 million.
Oh,
is
did
what
it?
Wikipedia says opening weekend. So
Okay.
I think it's probably doing what they wanted to
Do
do.
you think do you think they released that post-credit sequence, told people what it was so they would get people in theaters?
I don't know. I mean, it like as soon as people started seeing it, it would be impossible to keep that under wraps. But I think production-wise, they went a long time without it leaking.
Yeah.
So I feel like if they were
I mean,
going to
this
leak
is The
it,
Rock. It's superhero
That's
rock
true.
done.
It's
Like,
all it's all right there.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So they, our main characters, Sarah. I wish I could say her last name correctly, but
Jessica Parker.
it's not Jessica Parker.
Oh.
It's like Sarah something.
Silverman.
Nope, that's also not right.
Oh.
Shahi?
Okay, she was on a show called Life that only went 2 seasons. That was really good.
Okay. Never watched that
It
one.
was very good,
Sometimes life is short.
and it was. And it left it on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
You're like, ah, damn it.
A ravine hanger.
No,
There you go. See?
So these characters, our main characters, are after the crown of Sabak, and so I do appreciate that they are going deep into like the DC lore with some of these characters.
Amon is the character to
Okay.
her son.
Bodhi.
Bodhi Sabongui.
Yep. So what's his first name?
Bodhi.
Nope, the other one. The character's name.
Amon.
Amon.
Oh, I'm like, what?
That's way better. They're after this crown, and Adriana knows where it is. They end up finding it, and in the process of finding it, they accidentally wake up Black Adam.
Well, he saves her. So
Right.
the guy is basically, is it Ishmael? Is the
You think he's a good guy, but it's like very obvious from Jump Street he's not the good guy.
he's on the expedition with
Especially if you're a whale.
That's true.
and so they're
White whale.
so all of
Let's
us
not bring race
You're
into
right. I'm
this.
sorry.
Yeah,
What was I
that's-
thinking?
so all of a sudden Intergang happens to be there where they all are,
Right.
and they have unearthed the crown, and Ishmael turns on them. Well, she doesn't know it yet, but we know that Ishmael turns on all of them. They're about to kill her, and she reads the inscription on the ground.
Right. And here comes Black Adam, and of course he does exactly what you think he's going to do.
I thought this scene was awesome. I thought the CG looked good. The action was good. It was funny. Like I liked it.
All of that is true. You are right about all of that. It did not look cheap. It did not look.
I was never taken out by the CG. I'm like,
Nope.
this is an action-packed movie that looks like they spent the money on
But
it.
here's the issue, man.
And The Rock looks like a freaking superhero in the real world. Like, I just the casting. I mean, when you see any other actor, like known actors, they can do an okay job, and the suits do a lot of the work. But when The Rock shows up in that cloak, and that's his actual body in a suit, not for 1 second you like that's an actor in a suit. You're
Right,
like,
right.
that is a superhero.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I don't think they could have cast it any better.
No, I mean, he's a great choice for the role.
yeah.
They should just give him something to do.
Yeah.
I was like, normally I watch rock movies. I'm just like, if only he had less charisma and he wasn't fun.
Here,
Like,
go watch Black Adam.
That's really what I'm looking
But I
for
think
in a
for the
rock
character,
movie.
like the smirky charisma stuff for The Rock for me recently, Jungle Cruise, he downplayed it and did that like asshole humor type thing or whatever, and that Project Red Dawn, what is it? Project Red? What was that thing
the
with
Ryan
the
Reynolds one.
Red
Yeah.
Notice.
Red
Red
Notice?
Notice.
I like that movie.
Oh,
It was
It was
fun.
fine.
It was fun.
I was not a huge.
I would watch that over this.
Oh, hell yeah.
yeah.
But for Black Adam, for the character he's playing, the conflicted and who is a killer and has been betrayed, like he murders all these people because they've enslaved his people and all that. Like, I think for Black Adam, the seriousness worked for me, where usually if it's Vin Diesel being tough guy, I'm like, just have fun with it. But not Black Adam. Like, that was...
See, I think it would have worked better if he was a little dopey. And he's just like, well, of course you kill the bad people. I don't even understand. Like that, like that would give, to me, that would get, I would be able to give that a wider berth in the context of a film.
Right.
That he's been moved forward 2,500 years in time or whatever.
Quickly
it was.
learns English. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
even an
that-
accent.
But I think that's a Black Adam thing. One of the gods that he gets the powers from, the wizards,
yeah.
he knows all the languages.
It is-
so he can learn it.
It is
quickly.
not the wizard that gave Billy Batson his powers. They're based on the Greek gods,
Yeah.
right? Or no? Is
Yeah.
it, yeah.
They're the Greek gods.
This
and
is
Black
the-
Adam's the Egyptian
The
god.
Egyptian god.
Didn't they assign different gods to it?
So it was. Let's see if I can still do this. Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, and Mercury.
Yeah.
the plot is so flimsy that now they're just killing people. Like
It's a MacGuffin chase.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're looking for MacGuffinanium.
Right.
Yeah, it's the crown. It really, but I don't know. I appreciated, because I do think the storyline with Black Adam in his past is more complicated. I do kind of like the idea of this guy killed all these people, but they were enslaving his people and murdered his family. So I do still think there is a little bit of motivation, which is understandable.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they killed his wife and son.
Mm-hmm.
So he got mad, and now he's Black Adam. He has the Shazam powers, so he's like, yeah, you're going to go after the king and his army that killed your wife and son and enslaved all your
I have
people.
no problem with that part.
So he's still working through that. He got imprisoned in that tomb right after that, and now he's back, and he's like, yeah, I'm still angry.
Yeah.
And now they're enslaving the generations of people after that in Kondak. It's still all their descendants,
right?
And now Intergang is there policing, and that's what they're trying to make the comparison is all the checkpoints and all the guys with guns walking around. They're still doing the same thing, and that's why the mom is like, mad too, and she's like, they're still doing this to our people, and they want the champion Black Adam to free the people as he did back in the old days.
Just like,
he's not the people's champion.
That's I know.
He's the champion of the people.
Yeah,
Can't call him that. That's copyrighted.
Does he own? But I thought he got the rights back from Vince for the Rock.
So he's allowed to use, but he doesn't use the Rock.
I know he doesn't anymore because he wants to be Dwayne Johnson.
Right,
but
right.
Still, I thought he got his rights
Vince,
back somehow.
I mean, it's the same thing as like Hulk Hogan. Like Vince, that's a WWF owner. Like they own that.
I know. I just recalled a story from a while back that like somehow the Rock, and because he did use it on movie posters and stuff.
For a while, it was like
WWE
Dwayne the Rock Johnson or whatever.
I don't think WWE got a piece of that. Like
I think Vince knew that if he took it, he would never get Dwayne back in a ring.
That's true. Very true.
You do a little concession to try to get him maybe to come back every once in a while. And they did. They got him to come back a couple times. So the other kind of fun thing with it, I've always kind of been a nerd for like old DC.
Mm-hmm.
So when they introduced the Justice Society, and I was like, yeah, give me Alan Scott and Jay Garrick and Ted Grant. Hawkman.
This was so dumb.
And Dr. Fate, which I was great to see Dr. Fate on the screen.
So this is Golden Age Dr. Fate, but Silver Age.
I mean, so Hawkman,
Atom Smasher's Silver Age.
But no, this is the current Atom Smasher. So this,
but
Atom
still,
Smasher,
it's not Golden Age. Adam is Golden Age, and
see, that's the problem. They brought Atom Smasher. They should have brought Black Atom Smasher,
or just the Atom.
Yeah.
Anything at this, but like. Cyclone and this version of Atom Smasher were from the Jeff Johns Justice Society, and who was the executive producer on this movie?
Jeff Johns.
Jeff Johns.
There you go.
Which is why you keep seeing Flashpoint over and over and over again.
Oh, that's why they used the new 52 Black Adam. That's Jeff
exactly,
Johns.
That is Jeff Johns.
Yeah, so there you go.
But
of course, he's going to use his own
get
stuff.
that guy off of the executive.
You don't like him?
I did.
I thought you just didn't like. What's his fit?
David Goyer?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the worst. But I mean,
we need a David Goyer versus Joe showdown like they do with all those social media
please
boxing.
Yeah, come talk to me, you poser.
So Justice Society.
Yeah.
This is dumb.
Why is
having them or the team in general?
Who are they?
So
they just show up and say, we're the Justice Society.
They're doing that thing again where instead of building them up in separate movies, they now want a Justice League versus Justice Society.
And they're just like, we're Justice Society. And I'm like, okay, but what does that mean? Like, who gave you authority? Like, why are you
Apparently
here?
Amanda Waller.
Like, what? Like, they just show up and they're like, this is who we are. We're in charge now.
Amanda Waller's in charge of a lot of stuff.
Well, that's okay. That's the other thing, right? Is they keep saying, hey, the Snyderverse is done. We're moving on from that. No, you're not.
Well, I think they reined it in. So they fired Walter Hamada.
Yeah.
He was the one trying to end all that. And then the Snyder people went on the attack and everyone, whatever. So now by putting Henry Cavill back in this and firing Hamada, he's gone now.
Yeah.
Right.
There's the problem, man. Okay, so what did Feige do? I'm honestly asking this. Like,
he worked in Arby's, and he said, "I really like comic books." And they go, "Hey, sure," and it worked out.
But
great.
what? Like, how did he get that? Where did they find him to get that gig on?
Yeah, I don't know what he did before
Iron Man, right?
I think he was a producer.
Did he work under somebody?
Yeah, I think he was a producer, maybe for Paramount.
Okay,
where Iron Man was. He was in the industry, but he loved comics and he worked as some kind of either producer or executive.
Here we are, right? Like, he's one of the most powerful men in Hollywood at this point. It's insane to. I'll make one wrestling.
You watch
reference.
She-Hulk?
Yeah.
You watch the finale of She-Hulk?
No, Bella.
Okay, well,
Bella wants to watch it, and I haven't watched it. But
you need to watch the finale of
Okay.
She-Hulk because it directly ties into stuff you're just talking about. But I'm not going to spoil
Okay,
it. But
okay.
for people that haven't watched She-Hulk, it's a really good show. It's
I think it's
really,
fun.
really funny. It's really different than anything else you've ever seen. And that finale, you've never seen anything like it.
Okay,
So
okay.
check it out.
here's
So I'm just looking at his producer credits.
Yeah.
He doesn't appear to have ever worked on anything that's not a comic book
oh really?
project.
Was he in like old comic book stuff? Like he was a producer.
Like the
before,
first thing I
right?
see him listed on is associate producer on X-Men in 2000.
Okay, so
and then
Okay.
it goes Spider-Man, Daredevil, X2, Hulk, Punisher, Spider-Man 2, Blade Trinity, Elektra.
He was Aviar
Man
Fox,
Thing.
then.
He was Aviar Rod's guy.
Yeah.
That's who it was.
Fantastic Four, X-Men Last
Okay.
Stand, Spider-Man 3, Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer,
So all
Iron
the
Man,
Sony-
Incredible Hulk,
That-
and then
that's
everything.
Fox, that's everything.
Sony,
Yeah.
Fox, the previous Marvels. Okay, so
He's even on Punisher Warzone. It says uncredited, but he's apparently he did something.
That
But like
is
like
bonkers.
literally, I'm looking. I don't see one non-comic book
Yeah.
thing that he's ever worked
he's
on.
the guy.
So that makes sense that if he was Aviar Rod's like number 2, he knew how to get these things made, and then
Yeah.
Iron Man. And
I mean, look at the money that
this.
X-Men and Spider-Man
Oh, for
movies that he
sure.
worked on. Like
He, hang on here. He was assistant to Miss Schuler Donner on You've Got Mail.
But
say there you
okay,
go.
but in all seriousness, though, like that's Richard Donner's wife, right?
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, maybe
There it
because
is.
here.
Oh
he-
man, what a work for him.
And then
yeah,
before-
I'll go get coffee from Mrs. Donner.
Before that, he's assistant to Lauren Schuler Donner on Volcano.
Okay, so,
So
he
look at
so
that.
He worked,
worked his way up.
but he worked with with
Yeah.
the wife of the guy who starts the superhero genre
Yeah.
movie.
No, that's genius. Like,
Yeah.
and he loves comic books. And he's like, hey, I like these things. Can you get a
can
word
do,
in?
I can do this.
That's cool.
But I'll make one wrestling reference since the wrestler.
We already
Oh.
talked about People's Champion too.
No, that doesn't count.
Yeah.
When Vince McMahon bought WCW,
Mm.
he refused to acknowledge anything that they had done before,
Mm-hmm.
and he would take kind of those ideas and then name them something else
Right.
because he didn't create it. Right? That it feels like that with DC and Marvel at this point, where they just refuse to adopt the Marvel model the way that Marvel did it because Marvel did it first. You know what I
I'm-
mean? Like it's just they just can't.
Well, they can't get a guy, right? They tried to find the guy that was like working with James Wan on DC stuff.
Yeah.
And that guy's like, nope. Which it was so weird because you think, God, they throw you a Kevin Feige DC version and, you know, and you're in the industry and you're working on these things, you'd want it. But I don't know if it's the pressure or what. But that guy's like, nope, not doing it.
Because there's no forward thinking. There's like get it out now, get it out. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's no slow down. Like this
Right.
is a
'Cause they're playing
marathon, not a
catch-up.
sprint.
They're
But
playing
why? But you
catch-up.
don't have to play. That's the thing that is we've said this
know.
for years.
It's the long game.
Is they
should
don't
plan it.
have to play catch up.
Yeah.
You just got to make good movies.
Yeah.
And they're not at all.
I
And when
will.
they do, it seems by it's by accident.
Yeah.
Shazam was really good.
Shazam was good.
The
First Wonder Woman was really good.
yeah.
Aquaman was really stupid, but,
fun.
Really fun, yeah.
The
Yeah.
second Suicide Squad was an enjoyable.
Oh, the Suicide Squad's awesome. Yeah.
The second one.
Yeah, the Suicide
okay,
Squad's
yeah,
awesome.
right.
Oh, I mean, we have thoughts on Suicide Squad. So, yeah, I will just say for the record, though, I mean, I thought this movie was exactly what I would expect from Black Adam movie that had the action. I thought The Rock was perfect for the role, for what this character is doing. I enjoyed it. I thought this was an entertaining popcorn movie.
I agree with the part where you say it's exactly what I expected, but I did not expect to enjoy it. And
Ta-da!
mission
Yeah.
accomplished.
I thought it was fun. I mean, I don't know, like the new
Nothing
popcorn
about
movie.
this was fun to me.
I think for me at
A
least,
lot of action.
there's a lot of
but
action.
meaningless action. Like
And that's
it was
where
just,
it was.
The whole thing played like pre-roll to a theme park ride.
That's pretty good.
It just like yeah.
It had moments like there's a moment when Adam has one of the bad guys and Hawkman is kind of like hey we need that guy, and he's already thrown him off into the distance, and he's like, where'd that guy go? And he's like yep, and you can
That
see
would have
him
been
like
great if who was first? Who was Hawkman or Hawkeye?
a Hawkman.
Hawkman?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Would have
Yeah.
been great if instead of Hawkeye, they named Hawkeye Hawk Guy. Just
I mean, they do kind of call him that that's kind of what they in like the fraction stuff.
Yeah.
He's Hawk guy.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Because that would just be great because they all have their
Here's
little
the-
analogs.
For the most part, all of the DC stuff is going to be first.
Yeah.
Because that's
I'm sure.
1938 compared to
A lot
1964,
of it, yeah.
with the exception of like the Human Torch and Namor. But
Captain America.
in Captain America, I guess that's true. Amanda Waller again back in this role.
She's in charge of everything.
Yeah, I did think it's funny that at one point we're reintroduced to Harcourt from Peacemaker.
Yeah.
But I was like, when? Okay.
Congratulations, Mrs.
So
Gunn.
when does this movie take place? Because
Right.
she's now working for Amanda Waller in Peacemaker,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And she's working for her when they lock up the bad guys too.
But
So it's
isn't
post
she
Peacemaker.
didn't she leave?
No,
Oh,
she still works for her.
I thought it was the other gal.
No, she assigned her at the end of the Suicide
Oh.
Squad. She knocks out or betrays or whatever Amanda Waller, and then
Yeah.
they go rogue and all that.
Right.
And then they put them on this new assignment, which is to go get the butterflies and all
That's
that,
right,
which is what
that's right.
Peacemaker is. So they're all working for Waller still.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just very like I was like, where are we? What is happening in this movie?
But so she's apparently in charge of the JSA.
Yeah.
So it's Hawkman, played by Aldis Hodge, Dr. Fate by Pierce Brosnan, Noah Centineo is Atom Smasher, and Quintessa Swindell is Cyclone.
Cyclone 2.
Swirly
actually.
girl.
Yeah.
Swirly girl.
It is kind of funny that Henry Winkler is the original Atom Smasher. I was like, whoa, where did Henry Winkler? Why? Why Henry Winkler? But all right.
Well, he's the original Atom.
No, he's the original Atom Smasher.
I don't think so.
The Atom is Ray Palmer.
No, that's the the Golden Age Atom is who Henry Winkler's playing.
He's playing the Golden Age Atom Smasher.
No, Atom.
Okay.
Atom.
Okay. I don't think that's right.
Atom Smasher is what they redubbed him. They changed it all in like when they were rebooting the comics pre-New 52, but when they changed things, because Ray Palmer is a different Atom. He's like the reboot.
So what happened is DC pivoted from things that like weren't science based, right, or space based. So maybe you're right.
Because look up the original Atom Smasher, because his name wasn't Atom Smasher. They changed it to Atom Smasher.
The
but
Green Lantern becomes a space cop. The Barry Allen.
yes, it's with all that. It's with when Green Lantern and the Flash, when they were rebooting all those.
Yeah, okay.
Then they changed it. But no, Henry Winkler is playing the original Atom.
Okay.
Ray Palmer is like a reboot.
Ray Palmer's
Silver
the
Age.
science, yeah,
the
the
Atom.
Silver Age version
Yeah.
of the Atom. Yes, that's true.
So Atom Smasher is always the nephew of the character Henry Winkler.
Which is fine. I just thought it was.
It's
funny
just
that Henry
confusing
Winkler
because
is-
we know the Atom Ray Palmer from all the DC, the
Right.
CW shows. So people might get confused with
I
the
forgot that there was a
simultaneous.
Golden Age
Yeah.
Atom, which is just silly.
Right.
Yeah. So now all these characters are tasked with taking out Black Adam, which is also just. If you have Superman on retainer, why are you sending in the Justice Society?
I don't get it. Yeah, because I mean, spoilers at the end of the movie, which everyone's already spoiling online. Like you have to really try to dodge it. But at the end of the movie, Black Adam, who saves the day and comes out victorious. More spoilers for you there.
Right,
if you
right.
thought The Rock was going to lose,
Right.
you got another thing coming. But at the end, Amanda Waller's like, "Yeah, we won't kill you." Because she's like, because we can't. But we won't kill you, but you better stay in Kahndaq. And if you leave that, we're taking you out. And he's like, good luck. Send them all. And she's like, okay.
Well,
and she sends Superman.
And I actually do like. I think the post-credit sequence to me works.
Yeah.
And I will just talk about it now because it's the best part. To me, it's the best part of the movie. He wins, like you said.
I was really hoping he'd have a mustache.
Oh my god. Or at least a beard. Or
in
something.
their contracts now, they're like, okay, we'll give you the money you wanted. That's fine. Please, you have to shave your mustache, please.
He grows a mustache before every
Yeah.
before every Superman job,
Here, no,
just
you-
because they have to pay him like $2 million to shave
Right,
it.
right. You digitally take it off.
Yeah.
Meh. So he wins, and he says, Waller says, "You've escaped my prison. Kahndaq is now your prison." Which in the comics, he kind of does anyway, right? Like he says, like, "This is my home. I am not going to engage in anything that goes on outside of Kahndaq. You don't come into my world, and we're good. But once you cross that line, like, then I'm going to murder you." And
Because I
she's-
like what we've addressed. We've talked about this before, how in these superhero movies, they're always in New York. They're always in
Right.
the United States. And you've got all these people around the world
That's true.
that, you hardly get the focus of. And they explore it with Superman, with it's like, he can only be so many places at once. And
all of them.
so this is interesting how in this movie the mom is like, yeah, like you've got all these superheroes, but none of them are coming to Kahndaq, and here we are enslaved by Intergang, and no one's here to help us. Now we finally have a champion, and that's why she's like, JSA, get
people's champion.
No, yeah, you could say that.
Maybe,
but she's like, get out of here, JSA. We've got our champion, and JSA is trying to take down Black Adam. Where Black Adam, I mean, he's causing destruction and all that, but it's mainly the Intergang and the bad guys, and so the people are like, yeah, he's freeing us. It's very much like he did with the old school people.
But I think he says at the end, he's like, there's not a person on this planet that can stop me. And
not
she's like, well,
planet.
I've got a couple people not on this planet. And then he says, send them, whoever you got. He smashes the drone. And then what I was hoping was you get the line from like Superman 2.
You were hoping that she would have sent Batmite.
Oh God, Mr. Mixius Pitlick.
Mr. Pixie Stick.
Pixie Stick, yeah. And Cavill walks out of the, he's like, we need to have a talk. And I do, and they give you a little bit of the John Williams theme, which is just like, don't do that. Like you're just invoking a better Superman.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it's almost like the Rocky theme in Creed, where it's very undertoned. But I will say, the suit looks different. Yeah. The S looks bigger and brighter. Yeah. The hair it's not slicked back like he's a super villain. Like it looks like Superman hair.
Yeah. They always change the suits so they can sell you new toys.
Right.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
It is
You're gonna get the limited edition 5-second cameo version of the.
But what you're saying, is that
this looks like a different Superman.
And the director Collet-Serra, who's The Rock's guy, he did Jungle Cruise. He's The Rock's guy now, and so he's
The Rock's Chris McQuarrie.
Yeah, I mean basically, that's what they. All you notice in the new Hollywood, they're all following very similar formulas.
Except for Marvel and except for DC, apparently.
Well,
can't follow a formula to save their lives.
But these entrepreneur stars, the Ryan Reynolds is working with Sean Levy on all his movies. Yeah. Chris McQuarrie and Tom Cruise work together.
Is Sean Levy doing Deadpool 3?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Free Guy, the Adam Project, and Deadpool 3.
It's Adam Smasher Project.
The Adam Smasher. So we might get a Deadpool crossover.
Yeah, right.
But so it's interesting how you see they've all kind of figured out the formula. They all have businesses. They all have drinks, and they all have their own businesses. They all are working with the same guy. They're all playing the same person every time. It's like, but they've figured it out, and so now it's like very formulaic, which can get predictable. It will be interesting to see after a few more of these.
Yeah.
If it starts to all feel kind of the same, like people say superhero movies. Now this is a superhero movie, but it's one of the other ones they do together aren't superhero.
Yeah, but none of these movies feel the same.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they all kind of have the same look because they all copy the Snyder look, but none of these feel.
I thought this movie looked very much Zack Snyder.
Oh yeah,
like
big time.
The director was very much evoking that, but the people that love DC. The ones that love DC love the Snyderverse.
My complaint about Snyder was never the look.
Nope.
Right.
That was never.
It gets a little exhausting.
No, the look is good though. It's a cool look.
But it's a cool look. I just wish what it was showing was better.
Right.
And that's the problem. It's finding that balancing act. Snyder is a visual guy.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at everything from
even Dawn of the Dead is visually
it's a cool looking and that it feels a little music video-y like. But
if you watch that now, you can pick up on like there's the scene when
he doesn't have the money yet,
right? When Mekhi Phifer's holding the zombie baby, like you're like, oh, this is absolutely a Zack Snyder scene.
Because he comes from music videos and he was very visual and had an interesting style.
Yeah.
But when you look at stuff like 300, which was obviously very visual, Watchmen, even the Legend of the Guardians, the Owls of Ga'Hoole, it's animated, but it still has a really cool visual style.
Sucker Punch.
So definitely has a visual style. And then all the DC stuff. So he's got that distinct look, and it's a balancing act between the look and then the substance. And so understanding the comics is very important with these characters. And so he definitely had the look down, and it was hit or miss on the characters, which is why ultimately it fell into this mess of the comic book fans saying I don't like this, but then the DC hardcore fans, the Snyder fans, are like, I just love everything Snyder does.
I don't think that they're DC fans. I think they're Snyder fans.
I agree.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Comic fans are one thing, and then you've got the Snyder fans. What the DC cinematic universe has become, which was my original point, is the people that love DC movies now are the ones that love Snyder. Everyone else is like, do something. They're the only ones going more of the exact same thing, and everyone's like, no, please. The comic book people are like, please go a different direction. So, but I think that what they're trying to do is trying to win over the fans, because Snyder's not coming back. They're not going to do that.
I'm sorry. It's just, but you know what? We say that, but now you're saying that this Hamada guy's gone.
I know, but I just don't think that they're going to bring him back. And I don't think he wants to come back because of what happened. I think that there's bad blood. I mean, never say never, but I don't think that he wants to come back to that. He's moved on to other things. But the fans still love his universe and the things he built up, like Henry Cavill as Superman. And obviously you've still got the Aquaman and Wonder Woman that still make money and all that. So I think they're trying to hold on to that universe the best they can. And so bringing his look forward kind of connects it with bringing in Superman. But with the storytelling, they have to go in a different direction. And I think it's all going to depend on Flash.
Which luckily that's been a problem-free set.
And that's Kevin and I talked about that really briefly this morning. It's just like, it's going to be impossible to root for him.
It's weird.
For them, excuse me.
When your hero is played by...
So what is the etiquette there? I understand that Ezra Miller uses they, them pronouns, but the Flash does not. So when they are playing that character...
Oh, I think the character's a he.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I do see what you're
saying.
But like, are you gonna get yelled at if you refer to the Flash as a he?
As a dude. I don't think you can though, right? Because that is a character, and they are playing a character.
It's a valid question, but I think if Barry Allen is a he, then they are playing a he.
Right.
Because it's the character, unless they turn Barry Allen.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to root for one way or other, but if someone else is trying to stir trouble, I would say I think you're fine to say Barry Allen.
I think you're right. Barry Allen is a he, and they are playing.
I watched Hard Candy with my stepdaughter.
Yeah.
With Elliot Page.
Oh, yeah, with Elliot
Page. And so
Page.
it's like, that was difficult to navigate. Just because it's like, okay, well... she's a he now,
right?
But the character is obviously a female,
sure.
And so it was like
that's interesting. I mean, even with Juno, like having to watch Juno is a very different experience.
Any of his roles, past roles,
are for sure.
It is. It's a new world, and I think people need to be understanding, and people need from both sides, right? Like, people need to be patient and understanding. And people need to make an honest attempt to get it right. But also, if someone misspeaks, it's not always necessarily out of a bad place.
Right.
It's a new thing. And so, and just to our listeners and people that are new and don't know us, like, we're always going to try our best to get it right.
Yeah.
With someone like Elliot Page, we've all known him as with her dead name or his dead name for 20 years.
15, 20 years.
Sometimes subconsciously it might slip, but it's not at a place of malice.
Absolutely not.
I mean, because people that listen to us know that we're not trying to. I mean, I know we're three white guys on a podcast, but
there is that.
If you listen to us, you know that we're maybe not the typical three white guys on a podcast. Sure. We're gonna at least give you our best shot.
Try our hardest. Anyway,
so this movie,
smash.
Yeah, there's punching.
I thought there were some really good action scenes. I liked, just to go through them at least, if we're not going to really talk about plot, which is
because there isn't one.
But I liked the original. I liked the action scene when they go to modern days and he takes out Intergang as they're trying to find the crown.
When he's like catching the bullets and catching
the missiles and all that. We find that Eternium,
which again
can harm him. It's his kryptonite, which they really don't go into much. There's that, and there's one scene later, but they never talk about it or really get into it. We just see that it's the only thing that can cause.
But there's a whole rock of it. The rock of eternity exists,
right?
So,
But anyway, so they've made it his kryptonite because clearly that's going to come into play. So you've got Superman and Kryptonite, and you've now got Black Adam and Eternium. So those are going to be two Chekhov's Achilles heels.
Whatever.
So, and Achilles has anything that touches his heel. So
basically what happens is...
But action sequences, real quick. So going through Kahndaq, modern day Kahndaq, Black Adam is beating up Intergang guys as they're trying to track down the kid because he has the crown.
Right. And the kid's been kidnapped.
And then he gets kidnapped.
Ishmael has kidnapped the kid.
And so now they're on all these futuristic
motorcycles,
but like
Flight bikes?
hover motor bike, whatever.
Yeah.
They're powered by Eternium, I guess, because
Yes.
they've got the blue. So they're trying to say like that's now what in modern day they mine this stuff for all their tech. So I liked that sequence where Black Adam is chasing all these bikes down and he's tearing off the seats. He's like throwing the guys,
Yeah,
tearing the
right,
seats
right.
open, and the kid's not under there. Or if the guy's on the bike and he sees the kid's not there, he just then like smashes the bike. Like he's like, okay, not this one, and boom, the guy goes flying and it explodes. And so but meanwhile, you've got Hawkman running around trying to like
that's not a bad
save all
gag.
the guys
Yeah, yeah.
as Black Adam's just totally throwing them everywhere and exploding things. And so I liked that action sequence. That chase sequence looked really good. And then yeah, I mean, in the end, it just comes down to a big.
Well, Ishmael ends up getting shot, but he has the crown on him anyway, and
Well, so it was all a trick. So
Right.
when they read this transcription, it said the only path to
the only
death.
path to life is through death.
Well,
so
then when they found it, it was the only path to death is through life.
Yeah.
And then in
Which
the
is
future,
like, well, duh.
well, yeah, but in the future they found out that it was a upside down transcription. It was actually
Yeah, she's
supposed
not
to
really
be,
good at her job.
Well, so the only path to life is through death, and so we find out Ishmael actually knew that the crown is upside down, so the transcription's backwards, and so he knew he had to be killed,
Right.
and so he was luring Black Adam there to kill him. He goes to
We-
the underworld
it
or
turns
whatever.
out that Ishmael is the descendant of the last
Of
king
the king
of
that
the king of Kandahar.
Black Adam killed that was trying
Right.
to get the crown, and he
Right.
played the actor plays the same guy. So if
Oh,
you
is it?
were to be
Oh,
able
that's
to see
fun.
closely, he plays his descendant.
Okay, and then
We
you get
talk about holding a grudge.
no joke.
I know, right?
We should also say that Adam realizes that maybe he gives we get the real story how his son gave Adam the power and then his son is killed, and he says the words, and of course he goes to Task Force X, which I was like, just call it the Suicide Squad. We all know what it is.
Do you know his origin in the comic, the New 52 version?
No.
Okay, so and this is a very similar.
Here's
like,
the thing, man. I bought a lot of those New 52 comics. Couldn't tell you a goddamn thing about it. They're not good.
Yeah, but so it was very similar the way the movie does it, but they changed a couple things. Like I said, it was in the movie it's father and son. In the comic it's uncle and nephew, and basically they're both going to die because of the bad guys, and they are saved by the wizards, whoever it is in that version. I think it's Shazam, but it's the wizards, and they give them the power so they can live and both be dual champions.
Yeah.
And then the nephew is like, Uncle, we've seen too much bloodshed and too much terror. We don't need to kill people. We need to save them. And the uncle's like, no, we deserve justice. And the kid's like, no, it's not justice. That's revenge. And so the kid is like, Shuz. And then the uncle snaps his neck. So the uncle, Black Adam in the comics, the New 52, kills his nephew because he knows the nephew will never let him go kill people crazily. And so he's even worse in the...
Okay, here's the best part. He's on the Justice League now.
Right.
So they're like, "Hey, we got that movie coming out. Can we revamp that guy? We got to make him a hero like Harley Quinn."
But I mean, that's his origin, obviously, through the comics. He gets reformed and whatever, but his origin is really dark.
Yeah.
Kills his own nephew.
I mean,
He saves the nephew. They both get saved, and
which
then
is
they don't see eye to
why
eye.
I like the idea of like the champion turned bad.
Yeah.
I've always liked that. So
I guess if you saved him though, like then you really just kind of setting things right.
that's right. Yeah.
Like you're
If
allowed.
Final Destination has taught me anything.
Yeah.
Death is going to catch up eventually.
Right.
So he gives up the power. He goes into the little tube thing, which again, it's another scene where in Task Force X, you see all of these little pods, and I was like, well, there's got to be something there that's cool.
So we
what
see
could it
Maria
be?
Harcourt,
Yeah,
played
from-
by Jennifer Holland from
Right.
the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, and she's clearly still working for Waller, and they
takes Adam,
takes
and
Adam.
then they realize that. So what?
Puts it right next to the Ark of the Covenant.
That's exactly
But you
right.
see, they have a ton of people in this
Yes.
underground water prison.
Which
thing.
I mean would make sense for the Suicide Squad, right? You lose one, you're like, go get me XY's 42, and you pull out another.
I wonder
body.
who's in there when you get the Blu-ray and you pause
That's
it. You see some really big pods. You see all different
I think
sizes.
it might be a Solomon Grundy in there.
Yeah,
born on a Monday.
I was looking at the big one and I was wondering.
for Doomsday.
Yeah, I was wondering
Yeah.
who's in those. Yeah.
So at this point, Ishmael has died, but he had the crown, so he is reborn as Sabak, and he starts just destroying everything. Fate kind of astral projections himself to Adam. Adam says Shazam, breaks out of the little thing, goes and beats up Sabak. There's a trailer at the beginning of this one for the new Shazam movie, and in my head, it's like, okay, Waller knows everything, right?
Yeah.
So she knows there's another guy out there who says Shazam and gets all of these powers, but there's no reference of that whatsoever.
Yeah, it's weird that they didn't, since Black Adam is a Shazam villain.
Yeah.
His origin is from Shazam and all the
Correct.
comics and everything. It's weird they don't mention Shazam.
At
We know
all.
we have Shazam coming up. It's just not a name drop.
No.
I don't know if
And
maybe-
I don't think they want him in that end of the pool because
Or yet.
because Shazam is silly
That's fair.
and Black Adam is not.
Yeah.
And so
So they bring in Superman.
Yeah.
who has been in both worlds.
Yeah.
Superman has been in the Shazam movie in a way.
Sort of.
but Henry Cavill has not.
Yeah.
right. Some
But-
some TA.
But there is a connective tissue of somewhere.
Yeah. So of course Adam wins, and he gets his original.
Well, so I mean, this showdown's pretty cool.
It
So
is.
he does his Doctor Strange fate thing.
Can I tell you right now that there is a character called Doctor Strange Fate?
Well, there you go.
And back when they crossed over, when Marvel and DC crossed over, they
Amalgam.
thank you, and they just combined a bunch of heroes.
Wow.
So you had like Super Soldier, or you had
Yeah.
Darkwing, which was Batman and
Okay.
Wolverine put together. But there was a
That's funny.
There was a Doctor Strange Fate who was Charles.
Like I just wrote that, not even realizing it.
who was Charles Xavier under the hood.
Okay, interesting. But so Dr. Fate knows that he sees a vision that things are not going to go well, but they only have one chance. I mean,
Right.
it's very
It is very-
sounds very
and-
familiar.
Yeah, a little
But
bit.
He knows the only way that they can save the world is that Hawkman's going to die. And so at the very last minute, he ends up saying like, no, there's another way. Instead of you dying, I'll die.
Right.
But what he's doing is buying time. So he does this thing where there's like a ton of Dr. Fates multiplied, and they're all fighting. Who's the bad guy that he summons?
Sabak.
Ishmael becomes Sabak.
Yeah.
And he's hell on earth, and he's destroying things, and he wants to get to the throne, which will open a portal to the underworld to bring everyone in. And Dr.
Where's
Fate...
John Constantine when you need him?
See?
Yeah.
So he's staving them off with all the Dr. Fate clones, and meanwhile, when he's almost going to die, but he's able to telepathically reach Black Adam and say like, hey, you can get out of this. And it's weird seeing Black Adam or Tet Adam in his human form because
in his pre-super soldier serum form.
yeah, because we know what The Rock looked like when he was younger and not as ripped and everything, and so it's just weird seeing him as like skinny.
It's like
ripped.
what was
just-
that? What was that? Was it Ang Lee that did that Will Smith movie? Who did that Will Smith movie where like he's
young?
yeah,
Yeah.
and we're all just like, you know, we
know what he looked like when he was young.
when he was young.
It just didn't like the face and the body, like knowing with wrestling and
Yeah.
everything. You're like, he never looked like that's not his body type at all. But anyway, but we see him like that, and he's
Maybe it would be though if he wasn't working out.
you
know?
think that's working out?
What? No, I'm like maybe that would be his body type if he like we know what he looked like when he was younger, but he was still fit.
Oh,
That's
sure.
true.
You know
It's
what I
just
mean?
like even
No,
for his
sure,
like,
sure, sure.
He
Yeah,
just
I get
wasn't
you.
to the degree he is
Yeah.
now.
He hadn't had the booby surgery yet.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. I'm not making that up.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. He's a Samoan, so he has around like 1998. He started to get like a Samoan chest.
Okay.
So he started wrestling in a t-shirt for a while,
Oh.
and all of a sudden, the Samoan chest was gone, and he looks like he looks now.
Interesting.
Gotcha.
Yes, he definitely had some surgery to fix that.
But like
I
he's
don't blame him. No, I mean for real. Like it's like
it's an
when you're-
aesthetic thing.
He's
right?
clearly doing all the right things.
Correct.
And your body's just not going to get there. And like this is your career,
It's
and
just
you want to
his
look a certain
biology.
way.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't.
more power
Do
to
it.
him.
Do what you gotta
blame
do.
him. Yeah, no shame in that game.
No.
So anyway, Black Adam or Ted Adam is able to free himself and fight off all the task force
Bad guys.
Yeah, the Amanda Waller bad guys, whatever organization this is.
Before saying Shazam, he fights him off
Right.
in his weakened state.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he is able to swim up to the surface from this underwater prison, and he almost dies in the process, but he sees a vision, or I guess it's like him dying and being
Yeah.
reunited with his family, and
His
the
son
kid,
says it's not your time.
now
man."
your time, and then
Say
he
the
just
word.
Shazam.
And then he gets, and I will
Then
say,
he gets electrocuted because water, lightning, not a smart move.
I will say, I liked his suit in the beginning, but I do appreciate that we get the traditional Black Adam costume with the gauntlets and the boots
Yeah.
and the brighter lightning bolt.
I thought the suits looked really good in this.
I think they all did. The Dr. Fate one was my favorite just because it was pretty close.
Yeah.
It is weird how close we're getting. We kind of joke about that in the Marvel stuff.
Because
We're
it
like,
used to
look
look
at that
goofy.
dumbass Captain America costume. That would never work.
I think we're so used to it
You're
now.
right.
We've seen so many movies now.
It's like
superhero-
musicals,
Yeah.
right? Like singing is weird, but if you watch enough musicals, you're like, well, of course they're singing.
Oh, sure.
You know what I
sure.
mean? Like it's the same idea. and that originally those costumes had to be kind of toned down because they looked ridiculous, and now you're so used to it. But it also makes sense, right? Fashion is like that.
Sure.
Yeah. Like if you live in a world where all of a sudden everybody's in costumes, those costumes are going to get more and more of a statement.
Correct.
You know?
Correct. I mean, I love that Dr. Fate suit. That's great. That's so good.
Yeah, and I think the Black Adam suits looked really good. The Rock, it was just natural. It really did feel like.
I also think the
build.
Hawkman suit is not an easy suit to get on.
No,
screen.
that could be very goofy, and I think it was
very
fine.
goofy.
Like it took me a second to get used to it. You know, it's
the helmet was a
but-
little big.
Yeah, the helmet is something. It's a lot, but
Yeah.
it's like okay, it still worked in a practical,
Yeah, it's
real
fine.
world setting. Yeah.
So of course Adam wins, sends Sabak back to hell, and a very like I think this is
Dude, Black Adam tears him in half.
that is pretty awesome.
It is awesome.
That's
like
pretty cool.
Well, this movie went through, what did they say, 4 cuts
Oh, did it
to
really?
get to a PG-13.
Oh, it shows.
yeah, it had a
Yeah.
lot. Apparently, it was very
A
rated
lot of
R
black
for a while.
blood in this thing.
I would be interested to know if they release this, if there's going to be a
My
rated R cut.
guess is yes.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see what that looks like.
Yeah.
Just throwing it all back in there. So he in a
Not interested enough to watch it again.
I put it on while I'm doing something else. Be like, oh, that was cool. All right, I'll go back to it.
If you watch Halloween Ends 3 times,
Yeah, happily.
I think you'll
I might
watch.
watch it again today.
The,
I don't know.
the
We'll see.
Black Adam director's cut. you watched Suicide Squad multiple
I
times.
did
if I
watch
remember.
Suicide, but in my defense, I was like bagging and boarding comics and be like,
Yeah.
oh, all right.
I remember when you said, "Yeah, I watched this again." I'm like,
No,
or
okay.
you
I watched,
randomly-
no. Wait a minute. I watched the director's cut because we only saw the theatrical. I did watch the director's
Okay.
cut. It's no better. It's just as bad.
But now he knows.
Now I had to double check.
Okay.
Well, triple check because we
Triple-
watched it twice.
Correct. Yeah,
He did it so we don't have to.
Yeah.
Because
You're welcome.
Mhm.
But I will say there's a cool pose. I think this is a cover from 52, which was like it was a weekly comic book series that is actually really
I think-
good.
Was it Alex Ross?
No, I think it's J.G.
That did-
Jones.
Okay, I thought
I
it was
think.
Alex Ross did a Black Adam on the throne looking.
He
but
could
I
have,
be
but I think
yeah,
I think the cover that I'm thinking of is a J.G.
Okay.
Jones cover. If you haven't read it, 52 and Countdown are both fantastic maxi series, 52 issues apiece.
Okay.
But one of them deals a lot with Adam, Osiris, and Isis.
Okay.
Like they're the main focus of one of
So
those
we don't
stories.
even get a hint at it, but that's where they're going. If they do get more Black Adam movies, those characters are supposed to be
Yeah.
Isis and Osiris. So we'll see. And she's kicking some ass in this.
I
pretty
like
cool.
her a lot.
As
She-
just being a human, you can tell she holds her
Yeah.
own against the inner gang guys.
Like I said, if you ever check out Life, it was an NBC show. Who's the guy who was in like Billions?
I didn't
And-
watch it.
Oh, and then
Yeah, I
I
didn't.
think he was in. Oh, you know who he plays? Steve McQueen in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh,
It's
okay.
that guy
Okay.
Gotcha.
is in that show, and it's really good.
So at the end where he was like, I'm not Teth Adam,
I'm
Black Adam.
Oh, he doesn't
And I'm
say
like-
that.
But why?
because your suit's black.
Like, but why are you Black
It'd be one
Adam?
thing if like Teth is like the Egyptian word for black,
Yeah.
but
I think
don't-
because the kid, they hint at it, how he's like, you need a cooler superhero name than just Adam or whatever. He's like, you dress in a lot of black. Like they hint at it throughout the movie. And he's like, the kid, I thought it was kind of funny with the catchphrase thing. No, you have to say that before they're dead so they can hear it. And the kid keeps throwing him all these ideas of becoming a superhero.
tell him the Man in Black sent you.
Yeah, I did like the Man with No Name kind of comparison there.
All
with
right
how
with that.
the Man with No Name is pretty much an anti-hero. He's killing people and all that, but he's still the better of
Yeah,
the bad guys,
I
right?
guess.
Like,
well, he's smarter though. He's turning the bad guys against each other.
yeah.
I love that movie.
But he's not afraid to kill people. So I thought
No.
that was a good parallel there between those two. And I'm glad they didn't say it though, because I thought saying it would be kind of cheesy. He does. They are like, I'm not black. I'm not Ted Adam. And then they cut to the title card.
Yeah.
They never showed the title card throughout the movie.
Yeah.
I just
Because just saying it is so cheesy. If
I
there's,
don't know. I
I'm
thought it
black
was
you
still
Adam.
did that.
cheesy.
That was the
Yeah.
that was gonna be the tipping point of
But-
this.
But it was
when
like
you
it was like
say
this big
the name of
reveal,
the-
like they were surprising me, and I'm like, there wasn't, and I'm like, I don't get even why he picked the name. Like I was just like, I don't.
I took it as what you were saying is that the kid said the Man in Black
superhero
said-
movie. Yeah, this the
whatever.
Man in Black sent you. He's hinting at the thing the whole time. So I was like, okay, I'm Black Adam.
Either way,
I didn't think they were trying to try. I mean, it was just a way to put it on there without The Rock going, "I'm Black Adam." Like,
Well, they probably cut because he said I'm Teth Black.
They're like, no, cut. What are you doing?
They need to get descript.
I'm Jack Black.
No, wait.
I'm Teth Comedy Jam.
I
think someone misspelled the here.
I've been a DC. DC was my stuff from the very beginning.
Same.
You know, like that's where I started. And these movies, with the very
It's funny
rare
because, like,
exception,
growing up reading comic books, like in the 80s and 90s,
yeah,
the take was always Marvel had better artists and DC had better writers.
absolutely.
Right.
And it's so weird to, like, in the movies to see it so the and I don't even want to say the opposite because the Marvel movies look great, but it's like, but they have better source material. The DC world does,
and it's
I think.
deeper.
Yeah,
You know, like
and they just can't get it right.
when Marvel's like, hey, we're gonna put out an hour 15-minute special on the Werewolf by Night, and it works like a charm.
Yeah,
It's like
it's
1
good.
hour.
Is it,
I think it's
is it
only
an
1
hour?
hour? Yeah.
And it's like, and even DC's like, Nightwing movie.
Marvel just they know exactly what they're doing, man.
Yeah.
They invented the formula and they
because
keep
that's
evolving
exactly
it. But they keep evolving it and changing it. We're gonna
And
put these specials here.
I'm so
and we're
tired of hearing people say all the Marvel stuff is the same. I'm like,
no.
eat it.
They have
It is
changed.
not the same.
That's people that have never watched it.
It's like
because
you can't tell me that Iron Man is the same as Thor, is the same as
Black
She-Hulk,
Panther.
is the same as Black Panther. Like, no.
is the same as Loki.
Right.
Is the same
You
as
know what?
Werewolf by Night.
Well,
like
you know what?
they're-
You know what? The things that are the same. The Avengers movies.
Yeah.
Those are kind of the same.
So are James Bond movies.
That's
Right.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Your event books are kind of the same.
Yeah.
But the things getting you there are very different.
Right.
And if they're gonna
And you're telling me Eternals is the same as? I mean, for
Yes,
better or
it's
for
the-
worse, they went with a
it's
completely
a
different.
very different movie.
I mean, I love that movie. I know you guys don't,
It was
but
fine.
it's a totally. It's a snooze to Tom, right?
It's
Like,
a snooze to
yeah.
me. I'd watch it over this.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
it's so different. So Marvel is changing it up and has been taking chances on different types of stories. And so yeah, I think that argument is from people that don't watch
the other
them.
thing that I find is funny is, you know, Disney's buying these studios, right? So they bought Fox, but then the Fox name just goes
Yeah.
gone. Where
It's not totally gone from
But, I mean-
Disney's like projects,
but you don't see it like Disney/Fox.
right.
It's just Disney.
Fox still produces their own things on their own.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where you forget how big Disney is because when Warner Brothers merges with somebody, they have to put the name with it.
Yeah.
Like AOL Time Warner or Warner Brothers
Right.
Discovery. Disney's like, no.
Yeah.
You just become part of us.
We're the brand.
Yeah, right.
And they also have all these sub brands, right? So you've got Lucasfilm is still
Yeah.
Star Wars, and Marvel is Marvel
Searchlight,
Studios.
The Simpsons, and the
Yeah,
Muppets.
these studios are so big on their own, right? They don't need
Pixar,
any
all
other
that
help.
stuff.
Yeah,
No.
they buy these huge studios that are so self-sufficient.
WB's like,
Yeah.
the TLC. We'll buy that. Well, can we buy that? Can
Well,
we
that's
somehow
their strategy.
Can we somehow
apparently.
integrate that into the DC universe?
Yeah.
I
But
don't
that's
know.
their strategy. They would buy up all the reality show networks because that's what this guy wants to do.
Nah, man, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that's a detriment to the DC movies. Is like there's just no direction. There's
Yeah.
nobody saying, "Look, we're going to scrap this and we're just going to start from A, and we're hopefully not screw this up again."
They need to pay Kevin Feige $500 million or whatever.
Go get
20
Bruce Timm.
Yeah.
Well, you've got Bruce Timm and Alan Burnett. You've got two guys who
Yeah, you can't tell me that Kevin Feige is the only man in the world capable of doing
No,
this.
of course
Like,
not.
it's
But at this point, it's like they can't get it right. It's like, man, just back up that money truck and
Yeah.
see if he'll come over and help you out. Maybe Marvel will even let him have
I
a
don't think he
consulting
would.
gig.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
one, he's making
No.
so. I mean, he doesn't need the money.
He's doing
And I
Star
think-
Wars now,
I think
right?
at this point, it's about his legacy.
He's
right?
so established
Sure.
now.
Yeah.
I don't think you could get him. I just mean like, what's the number, right? Like, is it $5 billion? Is
I
there
take
some
over the
number?
studio.
Yeah.
That's the number.
It's called
Feige
Warner
Brothers.
Warner, yeah.
It's called Feige Brothers
Yeah, right.
now.
You
rid
have
of
a
the
brother? No.
Get rid of
No.
the brothers Warner.
I'm gonna go buy one.
I'm gonna.
And the sister Dot.
I'm gonna
You're
pay
out
my
of here.
mother to adopt someone, and it's gonna be Feige Brothers.
Feige brothers.
Yes.
This is a mess, man.
Yeah.
I had
It's
I had some fun at it. The Cavill cameo was pretty good.
I
It's a
enjoyed
mess.
it for what it is. Like I
Yeah.
didn't. I had my expectations were below ground. I
Yeah.
didn't have any expectations. Went in with my big tub of popcorn. Sat there, enjoyed the action. I thought Dr. Fate was cool.
Oh,
I
yeah,
thought
it
there
was
was
great.
I thought they did some cool stuff, and I was like, cool. Rock kicked ass for an hour and a half or 2 hours, whatever it was, and
205. Not that I'm counting.
Okay.
Oh, buddy.
I was like, okay, cool. I mean, let's see where they go from here. But I don't know. I think the critical reception's a little harsh on it. Like, I don't think it's awful.
Here's
It's
the-
Yeah,
just,
like I saw someone say, like,
come
it's,
on.
critics say it's the worst movie of
That's
all
what
time.
I'm saying,
This
like,
is not the
come on.
worst.
Did you
movie
see
of
the
all time.
spirit?
Yeah.
No.
like, this
Shut
is
up.
not the worst movie. I mean, this is not a good movie, but this is not the worst
I
movie.
mean,
of
call
all
it
time.
average.
Yeah, like,
call it boring or whatever.
aggressively average.
But
Yeah.
but I think it's entertaining, and yeah, the people that are calling it like just a 0% or
No.
whatever. Like, come on.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that.
That's the thing. It's not a 1 or a 10. Like,
Right.
you can rate.
You know,
there's some
I
middle
gotta tell you
ground
though,
there.
if there's no Marvel movies, this is not bad. But Marvel has set that bar.
They have
so high.
There have been so many. I will say, in DC's defense, there are so many DC movies that we would have loved if we didn't have
Yeah.
the MCU.
Yep.
I wonder if that's part of subconsciously. I'm just like, well, I know this is DC. I'm not even
Right.
trying to put it against
Like
Marvel.
if Marvel gave you this,
We'd be like,
you
what
would be
the
apoplectic.
If Marvel gave me this, I would probably be like, what was the point?
That's
of
it. That's
that?
what finally the bubble has been burst.
Right.
Like we're done. It's dead. There's no way they're coming back from this.
and the
Not
DC
DC
people
though.
would love it.
Yeah, they'd be like,
We-
we'll just put a piece of duct tape on this bubble and we'll hope for the best.
We keep wondering when that will happen, but then they give us
I've gi-
She-Hulk,
I've
and they
given up,
like,
man.
like
I said
yeah,
Ant-Man. Ant-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy were the two.
I
that
remember.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Ant-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy, which were
There's
both
no
great,
way.
and
There's
we're-
no way they can make it past this. And now we're getting a She-Hulk TV show, Werewolf by Night.
and it's great.
Yeah.
Like the She-Hulk TV
It's-
show's great.
yeah.
Man-Thing was on Werewolf by Night. Well, I should probably figure out how to rephrase that. But all right,
That's the beauty of Man
That
Thing.
is the beauty
It's
of
just
Man
all
Thing.
the dirty jokes you make accidentally.
giant-sized Man-Thing.
Giant-sized Man Thing. So, anyway, that's it for this one. Let's go around the table, and everyone can say where to find them.
This is Joe. You can follow me on the Twitter at JoeyButts, BUTTS21.
This is Kevin. Follow me on Twitter at KevinRBrackett.
And this is Tom. You can follow me on Twitter at Roger Kubert or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online, facebook.com/Real Spoilers. While you're there, like the page, join the group, and of course, don't forget our Patreon. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, Carol recognizes how.
Get ready for a spoiler. Won't say it twice.